Love, light, greetings, gratitude and blessings, beautiful and bountiful Ascension Star Family, my divinity to yours. Welcome if you're new, and thank you if you're returning. My heartfelt thanks for all your love, your light and support, your appreciation, your participation, your hearted comments, your emails of concern for my prolonged absence. I thank you intensely and immensely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I also thank you for all the love, the light, the healing, the protection that you are sending to all on our beautiful planet using the Ascension Star portals that we've created during our year of 2024, just through thought and intent, connecting and resurrecting the vibration of divinity upon ourselves and all on the planet and every element of nature. I thank you for our union, our reunion and communion globally, cosmically. All is well in my world, except for the prolonged fatigue, exhaustion, the days of bountiful energy. It's like all seasons at once. And so it is with the astronomical events that we have encountered and endured over the last weeks. We've had the 7-planet parade. We've had a total lunar eclipse, full blood moon in Virgo on the 14th, 13th, 14th of March, depending where you are, which brought us face to face with intense emotions and purgings, very unsettling and totally draining, straining time, causing us to face all of our personal issues and collective issues from this timeline and those that are deep-seated from previous timelines, the hurt, the pain, the trauma, the drama, and all that goes into the heart center that we could not process. We were brought to face that. Whether we remember it or not, our soul knows, our soul collects, our soul has requested this incredible purging. And of course, like you, I have endured a great deal of that. So my absence was all about going within, introspecting, purging, releasing, etc. And a week later, or a week and a half later, we have the new moon, a partial solar eclipse in Aries on the 29th of March. And that was a cosmic trigger, bringing about radical changes. And with that change is always discomforting, unsettling, fatiguing and exhausting. So we didn't have a win-win. We were knocked on both sides. And of course, we are still reeling from that, and it will continue because eclipses have a 6-month window period of really bringing out that energy into play. It's just a taste of that, a bit of a foreplay until it totally plays out, and then we have a dissipation of that. So what we are encountering at this time will have an incredible impact about 6 months later. And of course, as all eclipses are catalysts for personal change, it also triggers an incredible cosmic, celestial change in us. And we all are going through the Pluto in Aquarius, revolution, revelation, and a whole lot of transformation on a personal and collective level. So it's all about us having patience and tolerance and kindness for ourselves and others. which brings us to another solar event, being in the month of April, the Aries energy, ruled by Mars, the fire, the fiery, the warrior, warlike energy, the passionate energy, very much energetic, but also can be quite aggressive if we do not practice control and be in self-control. And that eclipse energy, which is fire, solar, brings us to the gateway of the 4-4 fire gate, 9 Stargate activation that we will experience on the 4th of April, the 4-4 energy. And with the 0404, it is talking about slowing down. Yes, it's fire, it's power, it's energies, it's action, but also very fatiguing, causing for a slow down to bring balance, because we do not want to endure the power struggles that we are dealing with, the force of nature, the force of our own energy, which can be disruptive, corruptive, interruptive, and create a bit of conflicting energy, violence and war, which we're seeing play out at this very time on Earth. We are in a fire year. I've spoken about this early in the year, where I give you the activations per month, so please revisit that. We are in the 4th month, and from here energy paces up. It's also about hope and authority, also connecting with ancestral energy, cosmic energy, otherworld energy, creating a lot of restlessness and low vibration. So you are being cautioned, you're being warned, you're being prepared to pay close attention to the people in your life, your surroundings, and of course your physical health, which is important at this time, because fatigue and restlessness, unsettling energy, a whole lot of disruptive energy in our field, in our personal lives, are prevalent because of the cosmic triggers that are bombarding our planet at this time. Nothing to fear, but to relax and embrace with patience. So avoid harshness, avoid abrasiveness, avoid sharpness. It is time to unwind and relax and absorb this energy and allow it to permeate, to penetrate, to emanate within your being in a very harmonious and structured way. So allow clear communication, especially now we're at the tail end of the Mercury retrograde, which ends on the 4th of April, but we will enter a post-retrograde period for about a week or two. So communication on all levels will still be disruptive, challenging, conflicting, and difficult. So set healthy boundaries. Ensure that your communication is clear, soft, and kind, so that there is harmony and balance. And I know personally, I've encountered a lot of aggressive communication, disruptive communication with family members, as well as electronically. Your Wi-Fi signals are going down, and I have had the worst of it very recently. And of course, it does trigger irritation and frustration, but we've got to breathe, we've got to rest, and therefore I felt best to take time out to purge. And you too will be required to do that if you have not as yet. And I send you my love and blessings to help you cope through these challenging times. Of course, the 4 is also a quadruplet energy, and 4-4 being the 4th of the 4th is a quadruple master vibration energy, raising your frequency, your vibration, your energy to such a height that if you felt the 1-1 energy of the new beginnings, the 2-2 that brought you into balance, and the 3-3 of the feminine divine energy, we're now into a 4-4 of the masculine divine energy, incredibly potent. 4 is about square, 4 equals square, balancing all directions, all cardinals. It's about structure, heart, home, health, fairness, equality on all levels. And that's also very much about the emperor energy, the masculine divine, be it a father, a grandfather, an uncle, a husband, a male partner, your work colleagues, etc. So it's all about masculine energy. It can also be about the feminine divine connecting with their divine masculine energy. Also about your sons, right? So 4 is about action and energy. It's about power, authority, protection, leadership. Also about nations. The emperor is about bringing all 4 kings of the 4 elements, right? Your air, your earth, your water, your fire, combining that into a mastery of balance that brings about, that births about the emperor. It's only when you attain a balance of all 4 elements of your kings, of the masculine divine in their elemental energy frequencies, that you can birth that emperor inside of you. On the opposite of the positive polarity, when we do not find the balance and we are imbalanced, then we become unstructured, we become dominating, we lose control, we're out of control, we're aggressive, there are power struggles, and also war, abuse, conflict. So we need to be conscious and careful and cautious about where we invest our energy, what we give our energy power to, what we give power to our energy as well. So as we begin today's activation, which is the 4-4 Firegate 9 Stargate activation, it is brought to us by our beautiful and divine Master Kutumi. And with that, we are inviting the masculine divine emperor energy to come in as well, for ourselves, for our planet, and for all that wishes to connect with a masculine divine, be it a masculine energy individual or a feminine divine wanting to rebalance and connect with your masculine divine. So as always, we invoke the energy, essence and presence of our Creator Divine Mother, Father. As we meet and greet in your celestial seat, we give thanks for your gratitude, your grace, your embrace, connecting, protecting, anointing and appointing and resurrecting us into your light, your love, your divinity, supremacy, sovereignty. And so it is. Breathing in deeply but gently, grounding and protecting yourselves, comforting and hydrating, with your eyes open, connecting to this portal of light with the fire element, and your heart center force the energy of the heart, bringing in the fire of your spirit to blaze into you and through you in a beautiful perfected flame of the cosmic divine. We call upon the vibrations and energy of Master Kutumi. I am Kutumi, and I come forward upon the rays of love and wisdom to greet each of you at this time, to bring unto thee the blessings of liberation, of liberty, integration, and understanding. Greetings, beloved ones. It is with great joy and pleasure from my heart to yours that I gather with you at this time, holding you firmly within the heart of Christ and securely upon the hands of God. Beloved ones, you are experiencing many rapid cycles within cycles completing themselves. And as you have integrated previous activations that I have brought you from the air element and the water element, we now have more opportunities for you to accelerate your journey of illumination with the fire element. As each of these cycles continue to increase in their ability to assist you in integrating the higher levels of knowledge and understanding, that you put yourself in the positions to be able to move beyond many of the old constrictive constructs in which you were raised, in which you have created a number of your attitudes and beliefs which have become the driving mechanisms in your life. For this particular key activation date, the 4-4 gateway, Firegate 9 Stargate activation, which is also the 9th Firegate and blessedly coinciding with your year 2025, a number 9 year. Is this not miraculous? And this messenger at the time was unaware how important it was when she intuitively selected this particular message for your activation. This message was previously brought through on the 9th of April in the year of 2009. And many years later, here you are, part of the activation at a different frequency level. So welcome. You have come to a point now where a new structure will be born. This will be integrated through the 4 lower bodies as you come to know them, your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual selves. And as you integrate and anchor energy through these 4 aspects of self, you begin to learn how the various mechanisms of life influence you and how fate often governs the direction of your life that moves, not because you don't have a say in the matter, but simply because your understanding of that dynamic has not yet moved into its appropriate next level. When you remain within one level of understanding, like a dog chasing its tail, running around in circles, working with the same ideas, the same morals, values, beliefs, and truths, and preconceived notions of what that dynamic in your life is all about, we want to bring you a change. Now, you will recall very recently that I would have spoken to you about changing the ways the dynamic of the laws of attraction works for you, brought to you by many other masters that joined us in transmissions. Looking at life as being something that you are attracted to rather than everything being attracted to you. That process accelerates your ability to move out of victim consciousness into victory consciousness, to embrace a level of self-empowerment as you have not yet fully integrated. However, you are working with that and are actively and very rapidly pulling all those parts of yourself into place. Well done, and congratulations to all of you that are working so diligently, responsibly, to bring yourselves up to speed. For this particular Firegate and this particular key date activation, you are required to give a lot of thought to where you're at on your journey right now. The new structure that comes to play is as a result of this time and energy that we are asking you to invest in observing the patterns, the habits, the beliefs and attitudes that you have adopted that played out in your life at this time, pertaining specifically to the masculine aspects of your life. Your father, your brother, your husband, your sons, your male league workers, your bosses. Perhaps some of you have great-grandfathers. Anything and everything that represents a father or male archetype, including the authority figures in your life, in your establishments, in your corporations, in your businesses, etc., etc. This is going to be a time of dying to those aspects and of those aspects that no longer serve the spiral of ascension that you are working on, no more than a dog chasing its tail. So first of all, when you address these attitudes and beliefs, the thoughts, the ideas, and the understandings of life that you've been asked to ask yourself what the bias of those thoughts and ideas, the beliefs and attitudes are. Do they come from your inability to sense what your truth is, or is it something that you've adopted and taken on as your own? Now, some of you might be saying, but Kuthumi, we have worked with this already. Yes, beloved ones, I do agree, to a degree, but now you are moving into a depth of self that has yet not been penetrated. You needed to first shift the idea of the law of attraction in order to be able to step into this new level of understanding of self. For then you will begin to understand what you are attracted to and why you are attracted to it, strengthening the ability to empower yourself with the new ideas, new vistas of awareness of self and life that have not yet been a part of your thought processes yet. Perhaps there's been moments when you have had a glimpse or have glimpsed a way of life, of living your truth, a way of expressing your authenticity of who you are, but you have not had the tools at your disposal to be able to do that, to feel it, to be it. And this ninth fire gate is offering you those tools by closing a door to a level of your fate, or an area of your fate that no longer requires you to push you or be pushed into situations in order to master certain lessons or aspects of your own personality. To begin with, it is vital that you understand that who your father is, or was, or whomever it was that played the role of your father figure in your life growing up, be it a male or a female that perhaps played that role. And that role would have, and how it would have influenced your idea of yourself, your idea of life, your morals, what you perceived as being values or value systems. And you need to decide now if those are supporting you in your truth, or is it a truth that society has created in which people are meant to feel safe? For it is a safety within a comfort zone that not necessarily nurtures and enhances the ability to grow as a soul, and very often inhibits and debilitates the soul's growth. And because that idea of what society accepts as a norm is very often a norm that is outdated. So this is not to say that you lose your core sense of internal values, your own system of what is true, right or wrong. What I am asking you to do is to understand where you begin and end, and where the rest of the world outside of you and its influences upon you begin and end. Therefore, dear ones, the ninth fire gate is showing you a way to live your life from a point of being motivated by the internal recognition of what your truth is and how to express it authentically, as opposed to living life by default. Do you understand me? This way of knowing yourself shifts the energies through your chakras in a way that has not yet been able to flow for the simple reason that certain filters are in place within your chakras that impede the ability for those energies to flow along certain systems of communication, through certain systems of recognition of your true self and your value systems. One of the areas within life that are going to be seriously challenged at this time are the certain morals and value systems that have been imposed upon society by certain institutional regulations that order a certain way of life to be lived, and that is the only way that things can be done. I will not name specifics because everyone's truth is different, and you need to discover what it is for yourself. This part of the process of anchoring the new light, of dying to the old ways, addressing how you crucify yourself based on the masculine authority figures of this lifetime and perhaps even others, and how to understand what it is you and what it is not that you want to let go of, by standing firmly within the truth and consciousness of what your truth is. For some people, a certain value system works, and for others it doesn't. You see, there has been so much emphasis placed on labeling and categorizing everything that it is termed as good or bad. Everything that is termed as bad, or everything that is termed as acceptable or unacceptable, and this system, this value system that you call it, this is for a particular teaching, is what you need to now address. What you value and what another person values may be two completely different things. Therefore, what you consider as disrespectful an act may have not even crossed the mind as being disrespectful an act for someone else. And this means it brings everything back to you again. Honoring your own set of systems, your own boundaries, and understanding what your truth is to the extent that you can honor the fact that everyone around you has different ways of observing life, different ways of interacting with life, and experiencing the millions of levels of life's expressions. One of the things that now will begin crumbling at a rapid rate are man-made laws that have created an institutionalization within the heart and the mind and the spirit of every individual, and this means addressing many areas that have resulted in shame, in blame, in guilt, bitterness, hatred, rejection, resentment towards self and others. This brings you back to understanding what your value system is, what your truth is, your ideas of life are, and truly acknowledging and getting whether it is the truth of yourself, your truth, or that of your father, or any other male authority figure in your life. Whose truth is your truth? Once you get that, you are accessing the aspect of yourself that lies within a new structure of expressing the divine self, expressing the energy of fire, your fire gate. The moment this is done, precious ones, you are able to take action. You can feel that you have the initiative and the drive to move through this time of death, which is the time of the Easter celebrations, and for the next few key activation dates that we will do will revolve around the time of death and resurrection. So utilize the energies that support you at this time, that will show you what you no longer need, what no longer serves you, and what the new concept of self is. And this is what the Ascension process is all about. And all the teachings that we have given you thus far beloved ones, is about bringing you closer to yourself. And you have observed yourself, especially those of you that are diligently working through the teachings, many over many years. Some of you have just started. Nonetheless, this is a time in itself that a process is unfolding in a way that you have never imagined and never experienced and could never dream how it would end. In this process, as we continue, things are really beginning to get exciting because we are showing you dynamics that you previously could not see simply because you were not ready to see it. You were not even able to fully grasp the concept until you began refining certain aspects of your own personality, especially aspects of your authentic self, the parts of you that will show you what your truth is and how to integrate it. What this death process will do for you is to show you very rapidly, in a short space of time, 4 days to be exact, is what it is that you are holding on to that no longer serves a part of you, that is ready for a new structure of your life. So remember, this begins with a 4-4 fire Stargate activation. Now the energy of the 9th fire gate is bringing you the energy of endings, completions, as well as new beginnings. It ties in with the theme of the year of 2009 and a rebirthing now in your year of 2025, your number 9 year. At that time of 2009, we gave a promise of new life, and it is a promise we made you, a promise to show you a new way of life, and this is what we are doing. But you, dear ones, have come to the party. You have to come to the party. You have to do this with us. You need to do it willingly, to face the darkest aspects of yourself and own them. And this is what this Easter period is about. It is what these energies are presenting you. So therefore, instead of taking you through a visualization today, we ask that you sit with yourself for as long as you need and write down your core value systems, your attitudes, your beliefs, and everything that you consider that makes you so-called a good person. Because you behave in a certain way, you understand in a certain way, you expect certain behavior from yourself and others. And for what reason? Why? Who told you what is acceptable or unacceptable? Now, I'm not asking or speaking of people who treat others or one another abusively. I am speaking of the general projected expectations you place on each other, as well as those projected expectations that you place on yourself. And the reason why I say projected is because it may not necessarily come from you. It may not be the idea of your true self, but rather the idea of your father, grandfather, brother, husband, son, a male school teacher. Or it even could be a female that carried a masculine energy that influenced you to such an extent or degree that now as an adult you do not know and have not been aware of the fact that a certain way of being or living or doing is in fact actually not being your way of being, doing, seeing, expressing, feeling, or living. And that is the core of what we want to get you to do, beloved ones. That is what we want you to address. The reason why it is so important is because when you enter a space known as a conscious confidence, You start pulling in the energy of the sun in a whole new way. And the sun is the energy of life. It is energetic. It is bubbly. It is friendly. It is also the energy of the ego. You have worked for a long time to deal with your lower ego. Now it is time to befriend your higher ego, to be the friend of your ego, to have your ego support you. You need to understand the difference between fear motivation and love motivation. Fear motivation being the lower ego and love motivation being the higher ego. Living in ego is not necessarily a bad thing. Not when you understand your ego as being the sun inside of you, the light of the sun, and as you do, know that the sun's energy is one of the most powerful energies feeding your heart chakra. We have worked extensively with many of you in developing the sun chakra, which was reactivated in your year 2003. The sun chakra is the home of your higher ego, the home of your authentic self, truth, which is what becomes your new ego. So to live a life of being confidently conscious, enabling you to express that heroic aspect of yourself in a whole new way, that energy of the sun fuels you differently. And as you go out confidently, leaving your mark on the world, everything changes. The dynamics between you and the rest of life changes. You are not as dependent on certain aspects of your life as you used to be in the past. You may not feel attracted to the same kinds of people that you were attracted to in the past. You may even find yourselves moving away from the many abusive situations that end very rapidly, suddenly, abruptly, as you begin to understand the beliefs and the attitudes, the morals and the value systems that underline the things that have motivated and attracted you that no longer serve you, leave you. So prepare yourselves for a complete shift in your life during this Easter period, dearest ones. And the month of May, all the way to the month of September, will be very important for all of you. This energy that we are activating today is opening up certain avenues of communication between aspects of yourself that have not been able to communicate with one another in a conscious way before. Now you are really getting in touch with the real you. And as you question your own attitudes and beliefs or ideas of life and that of society, you will begin to see how everything that was imposed upon you and upon society in that manner, including you, is what has led to the judgment of one another. Remember, everyone's truth is different, and in this instance, I'm not speaking of individuals who deliberately abuse and harm others. I'm speaking of the basic concepts of life that end up in gossip and scandal that people feed off because of their system of judgment. What is it that results in a situation being viewed as right or being wrong, as good or being bad? Remember, we are focusing on aspects of life that led to reactive behavior. We are not speaking of negative situations, negative abuse, harmful behavior, and I emphasize so you understand the difference of what we are working with at this time. Once you have taken the time to address all these questions and answer them truthfully, you will gain a better understanding of what motivates your judgment, your ideas and thoughts, your reactions and perceptions, expectations and intentions that you will set for yourself will become your life, your new birthing, your new path, part of your ascension. I trust that you can see how powerful this process is, and that by integrating that truth and surrendering to the higher ego in this new way, and not being afraid of expressing that ego of yourself, you will see that the solar energy in your fire month of Aries is extremely powerful, as it is this energy, that force that amplifies the magnetic field of attraction all around you. Therefore, what you are being attracted to holds a different signature, a different dynamic, a different set of expectations and rules, because that you will always be faced, regardless of the level you are at, as you increase in vibration, you will have a greater understanding of what debilitating expectations and liberating expectations are. So, dear ones, go into the process and trust that this is what will bring you into the dynamic of change that is very important for your spiritual growth at this time. And to take the blessings that are being bestowed upon you through this 4-4 fire gate, as it opens a doorway to the higher levels of consciousness that will help you see yourself through the eyes of the enlightened ones, through the eyes of the authentic ones, and all will come into life in a brand new way of expression. Let the fire of your spirit and the spirit of fire light you up. So continue to trust in the many invisible arms that hold you and fold you, precious ones. And I know that you are moving into a new world, into new levels of universal expression of yourself, into new dimensions and interstellar consciousnesses to celebrate life. Go into the death of self to be reborn, knowing all that you are fueling in and outside of you. That which is inspiring you is coming from the core of your authenticity, of your core truth. In this moment, to be free. I am Kutumi, the cone of the golden ray of love and wisdom. I greet and I bless you in love, in light. Adonai.